Let's go live. What's going on, team? It's Ricky here with TechBud Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. I want to start this live stream off by saying Happy Mother's Day to all the amazing mothers out there, and or to all the mother figures out there. It's no question, at least I know in my experience, being a mom is definitely overlooked. And very much underappreciated. So just wanted to say Happy Mother's Day, especially now being a father. I try to understand, how much it is that you guys go through. So just wanted to say thank you for all that you do, and we all love you. So what's going on, guys? It's Ricky here, and let's go ahead, and it's time to prep for the trading week. I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm looking at. One thing that I do want to remind you is I'm back in Arizona. We're back in my office. Excited to go live with the Learn, Plan, Profit team tomorrow. I do want to remind you that if you want to be able to watch me trade live, I'm going to be going live as soon as tomorrow at market open. We are running a sale right now. It's $150 off, and it's the second main link in the description. It says $150 off, 5K entries for the GTR giveaway. It's the second link in the description down below, second or third link, but you should be able to see it. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen so you can see exactly what it is that I'm looking at. I am using the Webull trading application. It's the trading app that I use both on mobile and on desktop every single day. You don't have to use it. It's just my preference. It's what we cover in Learn, Plan, Profit as well. And if you want to learn more about it, they do have a free sign-up bonus right now, and that's the fifth link in the description down below. So I'm going to say what's up to a couple of people that we have tuning on in. And if it's your first time tuning on in, then feel free to say what's up in the live chat. You do have to be subscribed to the YouTube channel to participate in the live chat. So just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. So again, make sure you guys subscribe. Hope that I earned your thumbs up. And let's go ahead and get right to it. So I'm actually going to put the live chat on this side just so I can see it and it doesn't cover anything on my screen. What's going on, guys? What's up? What's up? We got Dallas, we got Alex, we got Star. What's going on, guys? We got Joe, Hercules, Oscar, Stay Green, David, Rudy. What's going on? Jimmy, Ricky, I entered the GTR giveaway. I love that. Just joined LPP. What's going on, Jose? Welcome to the team. So I did see that a handful of you guys have just joined Learn, Plan, Profit. A handful of you guys are entering the GTR giveaway with the free prize week. We'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end of the live stream, but yes, there's only a few days left for the GTR giveaway. That's just another video within itself. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me about that, but very, very excited that in a couple of days, I'm going to be handing one of you the keys to my Nissan GTR. So what's going on? It's your boy Carlos from Miami. What's going on, Carlos? Happy to have you here. What's going on, Dallas? All right, let's go ahead and get right to it. I feel like we have enough of you guys here. My bad. There it goes. I accidentally clicked on our Discord. But wanted to show you where the Nasdaq market currently sits as of right now. So looking at the 5-minute time frame, Nasdaq is down a little bit, but Nasdaq, based off of last week's performance, is at 2023. So for the year, it's at all-time highs, right? For the year. So make sure that you're aware of that. When looking at this on the 1-hour time frame, let's go ahead and take a little bit of a further step back. The 1-day chart. I mean, we have been showing signs of this ascending uptrend pattern. It hasn't been making steady progress. So this is QQQ, which is the single leveraged ETF. It's a very popular ETF that's 1-for-1 with the Nasdaq market. And one thing that you can see is how beautifully Nasdaq has been making higher highs and higher lows pretty much all of 2023, right? Inflation is finally going away. It looks like it's finally coming down. We're definitely not at the target that the Federal Reserve wants to be, but we're no longer at 40-year highs, right? The big concern right now is the U.S. debt ceiling. I made a video earlier today talking about that. So if you don't know what that is, I made like a 3 to 5 minute video. Feel free to check it out. The other concern is the U.S. going into a potential slight recession. And then the only other concern that I can think of is, what can affect the market in short term are two things. If the Federal Reserve actually begins to pause rate hikes or begins to absolutely pivot and no longer not just have rate hikes, but also rate cuts. And the only other thing I can think about is the bank crisis. That's kind of like a curveball that we were throwing this year, right? It all started with Silicon Valley, and then other small regional banks began to kind of show this, the same type of like red flag. So it's just something that we're going to have to stay up to date. But the big concern as of right now is the U.S. debt ceiling, and then the overall U.S. going into a potential slight recession. This question gets asked to me pretty often, so I just wanted to make sure that I said it in this video. When it comes down to the idea of, are we at the bottom for the market? Obviously, there could always be thrown a curveball, right? Like we can get attacked, the U.S. can go into war. But based off of what we have going on right now, even with the U.S. debt ceiling crisis, like they're going to have to increase, right? The U.S. debt ceiling, it just doesn't make sense to let the U.S. default. Like that will cause so much more harm than good. So when asking that question, hey, did we bottom out? Like, in my opinion, yes. And the reason why is because the whole reason that the market was seeing such consistent lower lows and lower highs, and the reason the market was so aggressively selling off, is a combination of, we saw super high inflation, right, with all the printing that we did in 2021 leading into 2022. And then in 2022, literally is a complete bear market, right? Market sold off. We made lower lows, lower highs. We showed 52-week lows. We could see this with the Nasdaq market. Now, the big concern then was inflation. Inflation is now becoming to be under control. Unless inflation, again, out of nowhere begins to really spiral, then I would say, again, and you guys know that I love those, the sell-off warning or get ready. Yeah, and if you are someone that trades off of thumbnails, then you're your own problem, right? You guys know that I love those thumbnails. I love those titles. But at the end of the day, if you ever watch my videos, I try not to be, or I try not to use scare tactics when it comes down to that. I try to be very open with you guys. And in my opinion, yes, I do see that the market probably has bottomed out already. I think that a lot of people are going to regret not have purchased Amazon at $80 a share. Could we see a small leg down, a small little correction? Of course, right? That doesn't mean that the market can't pull back a little bit. I mean, it wouldn't really surprise me if the market pulls back a little bit to the moving average. But when asking the question, what was the root cause, the fundamental reason on why the market was selling off? In my opinion, it is because of inflation, right? Inflation is what was driving, right? Because of what happens with inflation and how the Federal Reserve has to respond to it. They were raising interest rates. They were making it more expensive to borrow money. Not only was the stock market hurting, but so was the real estate market. So now as the Federal Reserve begins to pivot, if they actually do, then yes, at that point, I wouldn't see any other reason on why the market would continue to sell off. Again, unless a curveball is thrown at us and something presents itself that it has not already presented, right? But yeah, let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So if you guys want me to break down your top stock, all I literally ask you to do is to share it. If you have the ticker call out format, then feel free to share it with that as well. If not, again, feel free to share the ticker, and I would be more than happy to break it down for you. So we are starting off with PayPal. So let's go ahead and break down PayPal. So PayPal, 52, is this 52-week lows? Yeah. So I kind of view this as a Hail Mary type of approach. PayPal is a company that did very well during 2021, right? It peaked and then has been selling off ever since. It just made new lows at $61.31. This is not the way that I trade, but I have seen a handful of people like to trade this way. It's kind of like, what is that? That form of like gambling where like you put a bunch of like pennies in a bunch of different like numbers or something, and if one hits, then it's kind of like a Hail Mary, right? I don't gamble myself, but that's the way that I view this, right? Anytime I think of people like, I'm just going to throw a little bit of money in this, I'm going to throw a little bit of money on that. I mean, if someone were to have a textbook on what a pattern would look like on a stock to not invest in, it would literally look like this, right? Ask yourself one simple question. Are you missing out by not being invested? No, you're probably saving money by not being invested in something like PayPal. I mean, yes, possibly it could find a bottom here. It could try to recover. There's always a possibility, right? It's up to you if you choose to trade this way. the thing is, there's this common phrase, right? It's this common saying, and it's do not try to catch a falling knife. And this thing hasn't only been selling off for a little bit, but it's been selling off since, right, middle of 2021. And obviously, yes, we hope that it's closer to the bottom than it is to the top, and we hope that it begins to indicate signs of an uptrend. But I have a very simple way that I like to invest, and it's, if you are a true believer that this thing is eventually going to recover, then I say challenge yourself, right? Prove it to yourself. Allow the opportunity to present itself and prove itself to you, right? So what does that mean? Well, let it do something that it hasn't done since 2021. And that's break above and trade above the moving average and make higher highs and higher lows. Very simple, right? Wait for higher highs, wait for higher lows, wait for indication of an uptrend. Actually allow yourself to see the possibility of allow this opportunity to actually present itself to you. Not just be like, okay, well, it's cheap now. We all know that the cheap can always get cheaper. Of course, you can possibly get lucky and hopefully it bottoms out here. It recovers to $73 and you make $10 to $12 per share. If you want to trade that way, all power to you. But again, I kind of view that as kind of like pennies when it comes down to gambling. If you are someone that truly sees potential in its potential recovery, then I say challenge yourself, set those alerts, wait for proper confirmation, wait for that indication of that actual reversal. And until then, just set those alerts and move on, right? No reason to overcomplicate it. So, Ricky, if you had $5,000 in your account, what kind of stocks would you focus on? So, Jamal, regardless of your actual account size itself, it's kind of asking yourself that same question backwards. If you had $50,000, what would you focus on, right? Why is it with what you're focused on, right? Why is it that you're trying to trade why is it that you are trying to change your style or create a style of trading because of how much money you currently have? If I were to ask you a very simple question, do you expect to trade with $5,000 5 years from now? No, right? Then why is it that you are trying to create or learn a specific trading style that you don't expect to continue to implement, right? And with that being said, it's just ask yourself that question backwards. What best practices, what kind of trader do you want to be? What kind of stocks do you want to focus on that can lead to long-term and consistent growth that regardless if it's 5,000 and or 50,000, 100,000, $500,000, $1 million, right? I get the point that you're trying to ask is, Ricky, I have $5,000. How can I make money quickly with this? And my simple response would be is just learn how to trade. And you don't need $5,000 for that, right? You can paper trade, you can simulation trade, or trade with a much smaller dollar amount. You don't always have to max out your account. And that's one thing that I want to remind our beginner traders out there is that, even with 5,000, it's a decent dollar amount, but it's not going to make it or break it in the market, right? Maybe if you trade options, but those are extremely risky. And I'm sure you've heard all the horror stories when it comes down to that. I'm not here to, repeat that, right? But nonetheless, I have a specific style that isn't as risky, but even that, I would say if you've watched my videos before, if you've watched any of my live sessions, I focus on a pair of Nasdaq ETFs. I focus on direction, and they're still riskier than, let's say, like Apple and Amazon, but they're not as risky as, I would say, many different options out there. And as long as you focus on market direction, if you're someone that believes that, hey, I think the market's going to recover, then you know specifically what stock to be invested in. It's a very simple answer, right? So if you have a specific question of like, hey, Ricky, I have this dollar amount and I want to invest in this, what do you think about it? Share that idea with me. I'd love to give you my 2 cents. But at the end of it, remember, the whole focus is not what should I invest in, but actually understand what you're investing in and or what you're actually trading. And that's what I want to remind you is that a lot of people are so focused on what, Ricky, I have money right now. What can I buy right now? Why not actually focus on learning on how to actually trade rather than asking someone to just, what should I throw my money at? Do you get what I mean? Like, do you see how that question is kind of backwards? Just because you have no sense of direction yet. And we all start that way. I started that way. Literally everyone starts that way. But that's the whole challenging part about it, right? Is we hope that one day you work towards understanding the market enough that you can make an informed enough decision to actually understand what to trade, what not to trade, what to invest, and what not to invest in. So let me know what you think about that one. Let's go ahead and move on to SPY. I mean, SPY is going to be very similar to QQQ, right? So this is the S&P 500 ETF, and I said it earlier before, looking at the 4 hour, I mean, we've literally been trading sideways since April, right? This one's since February. So SPY is the S&P 500 ETF, kind of asking that question, are we making progress or are you missing out by not being invested? Now, SPY is considered one of the safer ETFs to actually invest in long term. Now, we are approaching, do you guys see this? Our previous resistance range based off previous patterns, we got rejected and we went back to retest this moving average. That's kind of what I would look out for. We're at that same resistance range right now where I would ask yourself one of two things. Set an alert, and if it begins to make new highs, then I would confidently jump into SPY as a long-term play. But if we break below the EMA and we begin to sell off back to the moving average, then guess what? Wait for it to sell off, and as it gets closer to the moving average, then that's when I would decide to buy, because based off previous patterns and based off of long-term growth, I mean, SPY is not something that I would say many people would say, oh, I hate being invested in this. No, I mean, this is a very consistent bullish ETF, right? This is on the weekly basis. This dates back to 2010. Higher highs, higher lows. It tends to outperform 95% of the market. And this is one thing that, again, I love to remind our traders that it's great to have your trades, but it's also great to have your long-term investments, right? And this is definitely one that I would have in your watch list if you do not already. And break it down yourself. Ask yourself a simple question. Is this something that meets my criteria? And if so, great. And if not, then that's the beautiful thing about trading and investing in the market, is that you get to decide where you put your money, right? Just because I think that it's valuable to me doesn't mean that it has to be valuable to you, right? Just like I love the Nissan GTR, you might not, you might hate it, but it is what it is. If you don't like the GTR, then you don't have to enter our giveaway. If you like the GTR, then guess what? You can possibly win it, I think in less than 20 days, right? Let me see a show of hands. How many of you guys have entered our GTR giveaway, either through joining LPP or by purchasing something on TechBuds Apparel? Let me see in the live chat. Let's see how many of you guys are actually paying attention or just sending ticker symbols. There it goes. So, show of hands. All right, there we go. We got a couple handful. Just did tonight. TechBuds, what's going on? What's up? I bought a shirt. Nice. I entered badass giveaway. I appreciate it. Yep. All right, I like to see it. Yep. I think we have a total of 20 days left, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to double check for our GTR giveaway, but I'm pretty sure there's 20 days left. Let me make sure. This is for prize week. So prize week ends in 7 days, but the overall GTR giveaway, you just go down here. You should be able to see it. Yep, 21 days, 3 hours, 52 minutes, and 57 seconds. And then you guys have to let me know in the comment in the live chat. Will you take the GTR or will you just take the 50K cash if you end up winning? You guys will have to let me know on that one. All right. All right, love LPP. Braylon, what's going on, man? Happy to have you as a part of the team. I got a tank. What's going on? Stay green. I know you're part of LPP already, so I'm happy to see that you entered the giveaway as well. 50K cash, the car, GTR, 50K cash. Yep, 50K cash, GTR, no hesitation. I like that. GTR, 50K cash. What's the GTR worth? Price 70, 80K. 50K, so I can upgrade my Stingray. I like that, man. Sorry, I'll take the GTR, 50K. All right, let's go ahead and break down a handful more of your guys' stock. So BIL, let me go ahead and break that one down for you. Thank you for being so patient with that. I'm still on the day chart. Wow, what the heck? Wait. Is this Bloomberg? Super low volume. I do not I don't even know if this is actually traded or what is this is a spider Bloomberg 1 to 3 month. Okay. It looks like it consolidates in 1 cent increments and it goes up about 1 to 2 cents each day. I don't know if this is actually something that you can invest in, but if so, yeah, I went from $89 all the way to 91. It's not my cup of tea. I don't like anything with that low of volume. If we joined LPP, is it an automatic way to get entered for the GTR? That is correct. So as long as you joined LPP, so anyone that joins now or anyone that joined on or after March 3rd, 2023, you got automatically entered 5,000 times. So by joining LPP, that is the easiest way to get the most entries. So you get 5,000 entries, even if you use a coupon, whatever the case might be. If you sign up for LPP, and by the time that we announce the giveaway winner, your information gets sent over to our third-party licensed and bonded sweepstakes company. They select the winner, they send it to us, and then with that, we just announce the winner, making sure that, I mean, they're the ones that make sure that you're 18 or whatever it is that's needed. Yeah, I think you need to be an adult and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it when it comes down to that. So let's go ahead and move on. So we're going to break down Carvana. Carvana has not been performing the best. So let's look at this on the day chart. So Carvana, again, this is going to be another Hail Mary, another PayPal, a company that did exceptionally well. And this one hurts me a lot because this company is based out of Arizona. It was started in Arizona by I think the dad was the original investor, and he was one of the owner of Drive Time. And then his son was the owner, but I think the dad owned more equity. They're two of the wealthiest people in Arizona at one point. It went from $3.76 all the way down to $3.55 at one time. Right now it's trading at $10.50 a share. It's been showing signs of lower lows, lower highs. It gapped up, right? And I think this was due to earnings. It gapped up and it's been gapping down quickly, right? Kind of just like we've talked about before, especially if you're part of our LPP team. What goes up very quickly must come down and correct itself just as quick. And Carvana is a beautiful example of a company that did very well for a short period of time and then just absolutely crashed. I view this as a Hail Mary type of approach that, hey, if you're so certain that this thing's going to recover, set your alert and allow the opportunity to prove itself to you. Don't just think it's going to happen. Allow itself to actually prove itself to you. So please make sure that you remind yourself of that. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So again, we got Joe asking me to break down FIGs. What's going on, Joe? So we got FIGs. Let's go ahead and break this one down. Again, we have another descending lower low and lower high. Again, I would never consider trading anything like this just because it gets rejected too hard. I mean, it's literally like a textbook setup. Lower highs, lower lows, gets rejected by the moving average. No indication of a break above, no indication of higher highs. Why would you want to put your money in something that is not indicating signs of growth? I mean, why be that risky? Why make it more challenging for yourself? It's like learning how to swim when the current is against you, right? If you're learning how to swim, do you want to swim with the current or against it? Do you want to run with the wind or against it? That's exactly how it is when it comes down to trading. I just do not get it, right? This is why we focus on one thing, and that's market direction. And as of right now, FIGS is extremely bearish. So let me know what you think about that. So Ricky, after using Webull for some time, do you prefer it? What's going on, Sebastian? I do prefer it. I just think that Webull, and again, this is 100% my opinion. I think Webull, in just the time period that I've used them, they've created so many software updates that you can tell that they have an entire team working on this platform to try to be the best, the most advanced, time and time again. I think I get a notification once or twice a week that I need to update the application. It might be annoying for some of you, but it literally takes like 5-10 seconds for it to update, and then it still keeps me logged in as well. So in my opinion, that shows a lot about a company that's really trying to improve in a very short period of time and in a very competitive market where I felt like other older traditional brokerages are just becoming very outdated and very stagnant, right? Anytime that I would reach out to other trading applications, I mean, they were very boring. They were very stuck in their old ways. And I think only time will tell where they're going to get rid of the old, and then you will end up actually taking over. But again, obviously this is more for trading, and the other accounts are more for long-term plays, right? So yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on to PLTR. So this is Palantir. Palantir was also not performing the best. Palantir recently performed well. And again, if I'm not mistaken, that was due to earnings. But again, do not be surprised. I cannot say this enough. Anytime anything gaps up this quickly, it does and almost always corrects itself right away, right? Same thing as it did last time. I mean, if you are looking or asking for what is an ideal setup for a stock to short, it would be something like this, right? To make money on the way down. I can enter here and then cover to close here. That would be my ideal setup. This is not something that I would touch as of right now just because of how overbought it is. The RSI, just everything is just screaming that it's ready to pull on back. All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm shorting it. Super micron computer SMCI. Alrighty. This one's actually not performing too bad. Wow. Okay. So this has to be probably the best stock that has been suggested that isn't super popular already. Do you get what I mean? Like, we've broken down some good ones, but they're mainstream kind of companies. Now, the only thing that I don't like about this one right off the bat, again, I'm pretty picky on this, is the trading volume. I can tell the trading volume is relatively pretty low. How can I tell? Do you guys see these dashes, right? That means that within that minute, there was no change of range. And what that tells me is that there's not a lot of volume. There's not a lot of activity, which means that there's no range time. There's no change of that range within that minute. And to me, that's not very attractive. Like, why is this receiving such little trading volume? And also, they're more easily manipulated when it has this low trading volume. But right off the bat, it's very overbought. I would prefer it as it gets closer to the moving average, as we can see that, this thing has a beautiful history of forming higher highs and higher lows. At least it has for the past year. And when it pulls on back, when it gets closer to the moving average, that tends to be more of the ideal entry. So when asking yourself when's the best time to buy, again, it's during very down times, but as it's closer to the moving average here on this day chart. So I like the stock. I just don't think now is the best time. Imagine buying now and then it drops all the way back down to $83, right? A very simple thing that you can do is just set your alerts and wait for proper confirmation. But I like the stock itself. So ABBV. What's going on, Victor? ABBV. I'm going to break down 3 more stocks. If you want me to break down your stock, feel free to share it in the live chat. And remember, you do have to be subscribed to participate in the live chat. So ABBV, also another very good performing stock. We have broken this one down before, but not in some time. And again, if you're an absolute beginner, one of the biggest suggestions that I can have for you, first off, I will never tell you where to trade, what to buy. Let me say this now. I hope you see this and listen to this. If an account pretending to be me messages you that they're like, hey, I'm going to trade for you, I trade for other people, I'm going to manage your money, it's fake. I don't ever message you first off, and I mean this in a very respectful way. I will never message you first. I have one account. I'm verified in that account. I have no WhatsApp. I have no Telegram. I don't trade crypto. I don't do Bitcoin. Those are all fake spam accounts. I offer one service, and that's Learn, Plan, Profit, and that's all. And that's just so you can watch me trade live. If I were you, the one focus I would have as I'm learning how to do something is learn how to trade and learn how to invest in positions and stocks that are showing signs of continuous growth. Because even if you're wrong with your timing, you don't have to be perfect, but because this stock has a tendency, right, has a history of being so bullish, you're giving yourself a better chance to come out on top. And that's why I say this. It's not because I expect you to make the most amount of money, but even if you make a mistake, right, maybe your entry's not the best, maybe you bought a little bit too high, because of how consistent the pattern is, as long as it has a consistent bullish pattern, this goes for a long period of time, and you do your part of waiting for proper support, waiting for proper confirmation, then normally as time goes on, this thing should recover. Not always, but again, at least you're giving yourself a better chance where direction is in your favor. Direction is such a big thing, and looking at recent patterns, I can see why you're paying attention to this. It's very oversold based off recent patterns. Previous resistance at 166. I mean, if we look at this based off of previous lows to previous highs, that's about a 12% return in a perfect roll, even if you make 7 to 10% of that. Again, it's a decent setup. Nice potential, nice overall direction, and in my opinion, out of all the stocks we've broken down, and I know this one has healthy amount of volume. Actually not as healthy as I thought, but this one or SMCI are my 2 favorites so far, just based off of the patterns that they have. And I like this recent drop, but obviously, there's no indication of an overall reversal. If you're part of our LPP team, you know exactly what I'm talking about. 3 stages of a reversal. There's rejection, and then we wait for consolidation, and then we wait for confirmation if you're really trying to be selective on when to properly enter a trade. So, Archievables, I've been watching you since 2018 years ago. I appreciate you, man. Thank you again for your time. I think that's the best way that I can put it. What's going on, Braylon? Let me go ahead and break down your Tesla. love to break this one down for you. So I'm sure a lot of you guys can see this on the 4-hour time frame, getting rejected off that moving average, testing this EMA line. Can we go back to 150? No question about it. The big question is, if the Nasdaq market sells off, it will bring down Tesla with it. Overall, Tesla has been getting rejected by this moving average and is still forming lower lows and lower highs. Tesla is a little bit, I would say, is the riskier of the, it's one of the riskier stocks out there when it comes down to how valuable it is. It's valued at $500 billion, but yet sometimes it trades like not a lower cap stock, but sometimes it does, right? So lower highs, lower lows. I mean, I would love to buy some more Tesla at 130. I don't know if we're going to get to 130, but it looks like Elon is finally figuring things out with Twitter, right? Assigning it with a CEO. He just needs to stop all of these price drops. But nonetheless, I mean, a lot of it also has to do with the overall market and the overall economy, and how that continues to go. If markets continue to drop, then so will Tesla. But only time will tell, right? I don't think Tesla's at a bad price right now at 165. The biggest thing is that it's still showing a lot of patterns and a lot of indication of being bearish, right? With these lower highs still getting rejected, still struggling to break above the EMA line. Those are kind of the red flags. So right now I would say that we're either at a very early stage for a potential reversal, which would mean that we actually break above the moving average. I would love to see Tesla back in the 200s. I know I'm not the only one, but nonetheless, as of right now, it's just too early to tell. And based off of how it's been getting rejected, and if the market does pull back, because the market right now is at 2023 all-time highs, right, for this year. If the market does pull on back, which again wouldn't really surprise me, then again it's not really going to surprise me if Tesla goes even lower than the 150. Ricky, can you break down here? Let me see. The TRUP. I have no idea what this is. What is this? So you bought it at 40. Yikes. Lower lows, lower highs. I mean, again, if there's a textbook setup on stocks to avoid, it's literally this pattern, right? Lower highs, lower lows, getting rejected by that moving average. This is on the day chart. This is why I always ask you to ask yourself, right? Take a step back, get a different perspective, and look at the larger time frames. Look at the real direction for that specific company that you're about to invest in. I mean, even at the $40 a share, by taking a step back, you could have easily seen, right, at $40 a share, that it just broke below a previous support, which means that it can continue to sell off. Now we're below that $40 price point. We're below the EMA. We're below the moving average, and we've been selling off since 2021. So I don't see why anyone can justify buying into this without understanding the risk that this thing could continue to sell off. I mean, someone can try to come in and try to buy it right now because it's super oversold, but from 20 it can go to 15, and from 15 it can go to 10, right? And that's already another 50% loss. So please make sure you always take risk management into consideration, and it's not even so much about buying it at the lower price, but getting in at the right time, right? There's this common saying of, I would rather be late to a rally than early to a sell-off. Think about that. I would rather invest late to a rally than early to a sell-off. All right. Let's see. So KOHR. I'm sorry, COHR. My bad. All right. Lower highs, lower lows, consistent descending pattern. Yep. Again, if I'm going to keep this one very simple, just like all the other ones, right? If you're so certain that this thing's going to eventually recover, then set your alert and actually allow it to break above the moving average. I mean, there's no indication of that. It continues to sell off, and on top of that, it looks like it has pretty low volume. So just another reason kind of to add the cherry on top on why I wouldn't buy something like this. Yes, it's oversold. Yes, it could try to recover. If you like trading from the lows and then selling at the highs of the moving average, that's up to you. But again, just like I said, do you want to learn how to swim with the current or against it? You are making trading more challenging and more difficult for yourself by focusing on stocks like this. It's not impossible to make money off of stocks like this. I'm just saying that it's simply more challenging, right? So please make sure that you are aware of that. FFIE. So I think I'm past 10 stocks, but yeah, and I'm not going to end it with this one. Lower lows, lower highs, and this thing's a penny stock. I don't trade penny stocks. It's just not my thing. So overall, I'm cash right now. I wanted to show you guys I have no open position to my understanding on TQQQ. Just so you guys could see, I have my one lucky share on TQQQ and my one lucky share on SQQQ. So I'm starting off the week fresh, ready to go. I don't care if the market's bullish. I don't care if the market's bearish. All I care about is market direction. And if the market begins to sell off, then I'll go into SQQ and I'll make money as the market sells off, right? Because SQQ goes up when the market goes down. If the market's bullish, then I'll jump into TQs, right? If we head on over to try to make new highs. My main focus every single day, it's pretty boring, it's very simple, but it's always direction. I do believe the market's very oversold. I am a little bit more biased on that I do believe that the market should pull back based off of how overbought we are, and at the current levels that we are for 2023, that it wouldn't really surprise me if markets do begin to pull back a little bit, but that's just my own opinion. Nonetheless, the thing that always matters most is market direction. Trading against market direction will always most often burn you, right? Keep trading simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Focus on in specific things that most people don't, and that's not overcomplicating your trading. Again, friendly reminder, I wanted to share two things with you guys. First off, it should be the first link in the description down below. You should be able to see it. Let me go ahead and see if it is. Yep, it's the first link in the description down below. I wanted to make sure that you guys could see it. Let me go ahead and pop it up for you guys. For those that tuned on into or haven't tuned on into our free live trading session, it's the first link in the description down below. If you don't see it, feel free to refresh it. But you can save your spot for this Friday, which I believe is going to be the 19th of May. We're hosting another free live trading. I'm giving away another $1,000, and it's free to be able to watch, right? So if you haven't saved your spot, it's the first link in the description down below, so make sure you do that, right? If you're someone that's ready to join our LPP team, you will get 5,000 entries, and we are running a $150 off sale. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access, and you get to watch me trade live every day. That is the second link in the description down below. And the last thing that I do want to remind you is that I think we started it yesterday. We're giving away a prize in every single order, and it's this week only. So again, if you haven't entered our GTR giveaway, but you've been waiting for the right time, now might be the time, right? Every single order gets a prize. The prizes are anything from a PlayStation 5, an iPad, an Xbox, Smart TV, $1 to $100 cash, drone, Apple Watch, Beats, right? And then on top of that, you also get automatically entered for the GTR giveaway. So every order gets a prize. It's either cash or one of these prizes. And then you also get automatically entered for the GTR giveaway. This prize week started yesterday, and then it ends right as a countdown for you up here. So you can select your favorite items, get automatically entered. You get your prizes in the mail. And that's all at shoptechbuds.com or the fourth link in the description down below. So just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of prize week. Just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of the free live trading session this Friday. And of course, if you've been waiting for a discount for LPP, it's linked down below for you, $150 off. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me via Discord or via Instagram. I appreciate your time. I hope that we're in thumbs up. I'm excited for this week. I'm pumped for this week. I want to see where the market goes. All I'm hoping for is a clear market direction. And I know I'm not speaking just for myself, but I'm speaking for a handful of you guys as well. That's all I want. I don't care if the market's bullish. I don't care if the market's bearish. I just want there to be a clear market direction so we can short the market confidently or go long with the market confidently. So I'm excited to go live with you guys tomorrow. For all of you Learn Plan Profit traders, either if you sign up today or if you're already part of the team, set your alarms for market open. It should be a fun live trading session, and I'll see you tomorrow right at market open. Like always, continue working hard, continue following dreams, let your passion be what drives your success. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team. There we go. Good night.